Hello, this is Thoughts from the Mentally Ill. I know it's been a while, and I do apologize for that. I've been not feeling so well, having some heart problems, but still here, still bringing at least my vision of the truth. So, today I bring you a post, a slam poetry video, sponsored by or funded by the Huffington Post. Apparently, they have a rise part now because reasons. Because they want to get in that activism. Um, and it's so cringeworthy. It's just you have to see it to believe it, and it's so misleading and it's so full of lies. So let's just get started.
Is there a speeding ticket you need to get out of? Would you?
Because if you're a woman and you can get out of a speeding ticket, clearly that's evil and not in your favor completely. But you're being facetious. I see it. Would you rather show your tits to get into any bar for free? Here's a crazy concept. Don't fucking do it. You act like it's an issue. But some women choose to do that, and the guy's like, ah, shit, get on through. That's really is that really the what we're fighting now?
Rather show your tits to get into any bar for free. Are you tired of opening doors for yourself?
Because someone being chivalrous or respectful and being nice is somehow evil. Like it's oozing with. I mean, they're already in idiot mode. You can tell.
Does it bother you when you did want to give you his jacket? Did you make a big mistake? Do you want to just blame it on PMS?
Once again, you're being facetious, but PMS is actually a real thing. Uh, so I don't know where you're going with this. Like, if you're being an outrageous bitch and not being irrational, it does happen during hormone imbalances, like or during your period. Is it really wrong for someone to take that position? That, or you could just admit that you're an irrational bitch all the time. I mean, take your pick.
For the price of your father's X chromosome, you'll receive the woman's card right to your doorstep. There will be an annual membership fee of 78 cents to a man's dollar.
How many times does this need to be debunked? Like, you can tell the good feminists from the bad feminists. There are generally good feminists out there, and but it's this 78 cents narrative. It was 76, 77, 78 cents. This narrative where, like, instead of being honest about what it is, it's like women are making no. That's not accounting for hours worked, job occupation. Like there's no filtering done with that. That is just the entirety of men working over. I think it's like 35 hours, and the entirety of women working over 35 hours. It doesn't account for the fact that men work 11% more hours, 11 to 15% more hours than women do. It doesn't account for the fact that men go into higher science and dangerous fields where women go into sociology. Like, we shouldn't have to keep spelling this out, but they keep slamming this narrative through, even though it's been debunked. So the next time you see this shit, just know as soon as those words are out of a woman's mouth, out of a feminist mouth, out of a man feminist mouth, it's fucking cancer. They are the cancerous type. They're the ones that are removed from reality and are completely so engulfed in their ideology they don't acknowledge what the fuck reality is. Because 2 seconds into that, they should have gone, well, it's we filter out all these things. It pretty much almost drops to nothing, a few cents at most. And even then, you can't account for every single factor that led to that.
64 cents if you're not a premium member.
Unless you're Asian, then you're making bank. But are Asians not a minority? I'm lost here. Yeah, kind of doesn't fit your narrative now, does it?
Additional charges including the monthly cost of feminine hygiene.
You have a unique biology compared to men, right? You have a different biology to men that requires an additional feminine product so you do not leak all over the place. Blood all over the place. Oh, woe is you that you have to pay for this. Everyone else pays for their hygiene products. but you want to be excluded from that because you know what, woman.
Products. When purchasing a razor, it'll be $2 more for the same product, but for you, it comes in pink.
Yeah, show me this. The pink tax one's been disproven. It's there's the products aren't the same. There's this is there's additional stuff in a lot of women's products. It's not just like normal 99-cent shampoo. And if it really is that much of an issue with you guys, just buy men's shampoo. But you don't want to. You want the different product, and you're paying more for it. Okay. So and guess what? When it comes to hair shampoo, that stuff, like a lot of guys are buying women's products too. So while it might be given towards women, it might be marketed towards women. Men are still using it, so men are still paying that tax too. Because guess what? The whole thing with the hair, the beautiful hair, and all those commercials. Guess where it's completely marketed for? So if all the marketing is going towards the woman's product for hair products, what do you think is going to cost more? The thing that's not marketed or the thing that is marketed? Mind blown. But yeah, go ahead with that narrative. Oh, and the razors. When there's $2 more, they're not the same razors as men. Don't even try that crap. If it is a similar design to razor to what a man's using, it's the same price. Also, if you look and you just buy the 33-cent razors that are in bulk and in stores, guess what? The blue razors and the pink razors, they're identical in price.
The woman's card comes in different shades of oppression. The darker the card, the more chances you have of experiencing domestic violence, hate discrimination, and systematic racism.
All right. Domestic violence is a real thing. No one is pro beating women. All right. But what your woman card, and this is what you don't acknowledge, is what your woman card does give you is that because you're a woman, and if you accuse a man of domestic violence, that accusation is taken seriously. There can be criminal repercussions about it. There are places for you to go for your safety. The society takes it seriously. So yes, of all domestic abuse victims, women make up 60% of that. Men make up 40%. But there are no abuse shelters for men. There are no rape shelters for men. So yes, while domestic violence is a horrible thing, you do realize that your woman card does have many privileges. Pay discrimination. There are laws in place that stop that. If you can prove that you're actually being discriminated against for your pay, whether it's your race, gender, sexual orientation, and so on, then uh, then do something about it. But just claiming it's a huge problem all over the place without verifying it in any way, shape, or form, or doing anything to stop it, uh, what? So just because you say this is a huge problem, it is? Is that the position we're taking now? Also, systematic racism. You're asking everyone to fight the boogeyman. Because once again, because you cannot point towards individual cases and individual policies and laws that are racist, you use this blanket term because you don't want any accountability. You are accountable for your own actions. Okay? The system's not out to get you. Once again, the highest earners in America, surprise, ain't white people. So if you make the right choices in you as a society, you as a group, do it, it leads to good outcomes. But because the black communities are plagued with single parent homes, which leads to higher crime rate percentages, um, let's not ignore that.
If you're a black woman, you'll have the luxury of wasting $300 on hair products.
You really want to talk shit about hair products? You painted your hair this yellowish, greenish, blue shit. And clearly, you're not concerned about getting a job because your hair is frizzy as shit, not straightened out, and you haven't used any of those products. But here you are complaining about it, even though obviously if it's that big of a problem, I would think that you'd be doing it too. But hey, you know what? Uh, Complain about that. Go ahead.
Because you have to look like a white woman to receive the job you've been waiting for.
You've been waiting for. Not the job that you've earned, job that you've sought after, nah, the job you've been waiting for. No, waiting for something is not proactive. Okay. Second, once again, you're just saying shit without any type of verification.
If you're a Hispanic woman like my mother cleaning a house, the owner is allowed to harass you all he likes.
Don't worry, you will not be able to respond in his language, but you will still understand what he's doing.
Ooh, the victim narrative is strong with these four. If a man is harassing you, you can take it to the police, you can take it to your employer. But here's while men, and once again, undeniably, men should not do this. Um, Here's a crazy thing: quit that specific job. That no longer go to his house. The one that's doing it. Like you act like you're not accountable for any actions. If this is occurring and it won't stop and the normal shit's not working, then just don't do it. Yes, the guy's a scumbag for doing it. That's undeniable. But once again, you have the ability to change the situation yourself. But once again, what the hell? I think that's what most of this is now that I have a woman card, I am no longer accountable for any of my actions ever.
If you and your friends purchase the card together, 1 in 3 of you will be sexually assaulted.
Okay, once again, back to the misleading statistics. I haven't heard the 1 in 3, but I've heard the 1 in 4 and the 1 in 5. Um, and those stem from misleading questions on the statistics, and even those statistics say that they might be inflated due to non-responsive bias. So yeah, but they don't put that in asterisk there. Um, but when the questions state on those forms like did has someone tried to kiss you that was unwanted, or have you had drunken sex? Those are all counted as sexual assault, even though it doesn't matter that both a man and a woman were drunk. Doesn't matter if only the man is accountable, and it's only rape in that case, or an unwanted kissing. Like, did he force himself on? Did he forcibly penetrate you after that? Did he forcibly grope you? I mean, if he tried to kiss you and you didn't want it and you said no and it stopped, that's not sexual assault. That's called miscommunication. Okay? But it's painting this narrative that anything that a man does clearly is with the incentive of oppressing, raping, murdering, dismembering, and putting women into slavery in the kitchen. Like it's this crazy ass narrative. And it's dishonest. Those statistics are openly dishonest, just like the 78 cents one.
The only requirement being you must.
Matter of fact, I remember one of the statistics for the people that did the statistics said specifically don't trust exactly what's going on here. But I'll have to get back to that one later.
Must breathe in public. When carrying your woman's card walking home at night,
99.9% of holders report that they experience
catcalls,
heckling,
and even persistent flirting.
Okay, so 99% of all people, 99.9% of all people, or all women within their life, has experienced catcalling, heckling, or flirting within their lifetime. Well, shit, that's called being human, because you have both the negative and the positive there. You have both. You have both sides of it. Guess what? I, as a man, I am clearly obese. And walking home one day, women that were in the car driving past were catcalling, heckling me as they drove by. I mean, I know they weren't actually interested, but they were, they're doing the catcall thing. So don't, once again, not exactly a vagina thing, especially the heckling. Don't even try it. But I love how they give that 99.9, so it's this overwhelmingly crazy statistic. Really? There's no 99.9% of anything unless it's something that's universal. Trust me. Like that's ridiculous.
Women in the work office claim that coworkers constantly remind them of their card.
And it's privilege. Could it be that you actually have privileges and the system is biased in your favor? But clearly you're oppressed, and people pointing that out is they're evil. It's not that you have privileges; it's just that they're evil.
And it's privilege. Like when your colleagues keep forgetting that you're not the intern and refuse to see you as anything but a pencil skirt and stocking.
Okay, A, I don't even know what a pencil skirt is. B, were you the intern at one point and they don't and they don't realize that you're not anymore? Are you a new person in the place that you go to you work at? Does it does it primarily hire interns? But no, once again, it's painting this bullshit narrative. Show me examples. And I love how you use anything but a pencil skirt and stockings. Okay, here's a crazy concept. A, if it's that much of an issue, don't wear them. B, are you really going to dictate what men think? You who are teens, who are inexperienced in life, who don't know shit other than what your feminist ideology professors have told you, teachers have told you, what you've clung to, because rise up and fight. That's the new thing, right? You're looking for a reason to be rebellious, but clearly, because once again, it's this team slam poetry. What the fuck do you know yet? Not one of these bitches, not one of them has experienced that. Bet you dollars to dimes that in no realistic term have they experienced that. But they're here doing the slam poetry because you know what? It's the cool thing.
If you show a health provider your woman's card,
You'll receive new and improved ways on how to deal with the aftermath of your boyfriend refusing to wear a condom.
Because clearly only the man was at fault there. It wasn't like two people consensually having sex. It wasn't like you could say, "Hey, if you don't put on that condom, you're not having sex." It's not like, you know, there's not a woman's type of condom. That there's not, if there's not a woman's oral prevention. No, it's only the man's problem. It's only the man's fault. Like clearly you have that's what this whole thing is. It's like we don't have responsibility. Everything, men evil.
You will find it is always your responsibility to clean up his mess.
Because that never happens in reverse, and it doesn't happen that he's busting his ass, day in day out, fucking in a bust ass labor job, to support you. But you're really gonna bitch about cleaning up his mess? And let's say you both work. Is it really that evil that you pick up some socks? I mean, we're not talking about anything. It takes more than 45 seconds of your time in most cases.
However, Congress will even strip you of these decisions, convincing you that they have more rights over your body than you do.
Okay, this is true and false at the same time. The only two things that actually Congress is taking part on is whether or not women have the right to have birth control part of automatically given for free, or at reduced cost through healthcare, even though it's not something that's actually required. It's beneficial, but it's not required. So why is everyone paying that out of pocket? That's a valid question that needs to be looked into. The second part, and this is the part I don't like, instead of getting rid of Roe v. Wade, which I'm not for, but I'm personally I wouldn't want an abortion done, if it was my child, but or if it was my girlfriend pregnant or my wife pregnant. But what they're doing is, instead of getting rid of Roe v. Wade, what they're doing is that they're adding so many rules to how abortion clinics can run, and it just makes them non-functional. It makes them either physically not functional, or makes it really difficult for them to operate in any way, shape, or form. So like it can't be a certain distance of schools. They have to have hallways that are size of hospitals. Big enough for gurneys to pass by each other, shit like that. And it's just they keep stacking the deck against these facilities so they can't operate. Um, and that's how it happens. But once again, you can't expect the taxpayer, especially since it's such a divisive issue, um, for them to pay for it out of taxpayer dollars. You are not owed an abortion unless it's medically necessary and it's deemed that way by, where your life is at risk, or in the case of rape or incest, stuff like that. But once again, it's not owed to you, but it's still there. Thousands of abortions happen a year. But I'm saying the Congress does need to stop trying to micromanage that shit, as a workaround to Roe v. Wade.
Don't be alarmed. These side effects are normal.
Furthering your education will heighten the possibility of assault.
What? Oh, I see where they're going with this.
Have no worry when you're right behind a dumpster a block from your sorority.
They're using that one situation where that judge fucking turned around and gave the guy 6 months raping that girl. You want to know how you're so outraged and why it's such a polarizing thing? Is because it normally doesn't happen. You're painting this as the norm, but the reason why that specific example comes to mind is because it was so abnormal. Don't you get the stupidity in how you're doing this? Like you are openly being dishonest. And if they figure out a way to write all this, they know better. They have the tools to research this. This is such nonsense. But here's the thing: if a man and a woman both are drunk, only the man's responsible and can be accused of rape. If the woman's sober and the man's drunk, it's still the man who, by the way, was furthering his education, who will get kicked out of the school when she accuses him of rape, and then turns around and sleeps with another gentleman a few hours later because the first guy, the one that was kicked out, was too drunk to perform. And even when texts are brought up that show that this woman, her frame of mind and what had happened as she was texting her friend, are brought to the school, it won't be admitted, and he'll still be accused as a rapist, only based on her word and the fact that they had sex. But really, let's focus on that one fucking case, and not the fact that the whole Title IX system is jacked.
Justice will be served with a 6-month sentence in a local jail. A steep price to pay for 20 minutes of action. Is it privilege to lose our consent to the government?
What consent did you lose to the government?
When most men hear the word equality, they only think about the right to hit women back.
The right to hit women back. Let's listen to that one. The right to hit women back. Oh, she hit him first. She assaulted him. Maybe men want the right to defend themselves forcibly without the risk of jail when they're violently assaulted by a woman. I can't imagine why anyone would want that right. But hey, you know what, women, you keep hitting men and expect not to be getting hit back.
To call them what they like to do.
Call them what they like. Oh, I'm sorry. So, words equals you're allowed to do violence, and then if they defend themselves and they're concerned with their ability to defend themselves, that's wrong. The fact that yeah, anyone can say whatever they want. What they don't have the right is to assault other people.
What society has long accepted. I am afraid to have a daughter, to be the one to teach her the purpose of rape nail.
Yeah. Most rapes occur by people they know. While rape nail polish is a great idea. Yeah. In a dress code? Yeah, everyone should have a dress code. Men have dress codes. You ever see men at work? Suit and tie.
College and dress code. I'm afraid to have a son. I'm afraid that mother knows best will mean nothing.
Well, if you're the mother, then clearly you don't know shit. And it does mean nothing. Because, and let's look at this when this does happen. Mothers knows best, huh? 70% of all people in jail are from single parent homes. And the majority of those parent homes are women. Because the court system is biased when it comes to custody in favor of women. The society is deemed, by the way, it started with a woman, that women are more nurturing. So, by the way, the system is patriarchy. It was a woman that set that standard. So, good luck with that shit later on. Yeah. So if women are doing such a bang up job and mother knows best, you think rape numbers would be through the floor, that assault numbers would be through the floor, but no, no. Could it be that they actually need a man in their life, and maybe mom doesn't know best, and maybe a two-parent home is a good thing? Crazy idea.
When manhood teaches him otherwise.
What do you mean manhood teaches him otherwise? The fuck do you think manhood is? That as soon as you become old enough to reproduce, or old enough to be mature, or even 18 years old, that someone comes down and teaches you the ways of man, even if you've only had a woman in your life, your mother, all your life? You think that's how shit works? Man, if anything, them hanging out with their friends will lead to bad decisions, or maybe they make individual bad decisions which they get their friends to join in on or do individually. I mean, once again, women are taking no accountability here, but clearly, mother knows best. My mother has an 8th grade education. She doesn't know shit about most things. Love her to death, but she doesn't. Her knowing best is when she didn't even know she had ovaries until she was 24, and that was after having 4 children. It's kind of, once again, this is an individual case, but I'm saying mothers, no.
The woman card is a sponsored product of the patriarchy. If you receive
The patriarchy, like systematic racism or oppression. The boogeyman.
a woman's card without ordering recent application.
Because clearly, women having all the perks, men having to deal with rejection in the dating, men having to pay for dating, men having to risk their life for women, only men being in the draft, men taking all the shitty jobs. Even though the HVAC field and all trade fields are freaking wide open, women aren't taking them. I mean, wide open. But no, nope, clearly patriarchy.
Are prone to failure. Processing paper likely to be disregarded. The woman card is not affiliated with the government, Donald Trump, and misogynistic propaganda.
Because clearly you need to throw Donald Trump in there for shits and giggles. And also misogynic propaganda. No, your entire line of bullshit was misogynic propaganda. All right? It paints women as hapless victims with no accountability and no ability to change themselves. You are hurting your own gender. That is misogyny in its finest form. Matter of fact, you are both misogynistic and misandric towards men in this case. So you are worse in this case than just a man being sexist towards women. Because you are a freaking sexist times 2. So, anyways, this has been Thoughts for the Mentally Ill. This has been the bane of my day. Like, I hope you all enjoyed this cancer-filled, evil feminist teen ideology. It's, oh my lord. Peace and long life.